Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin and I have a podcast episode for you guys today. So this is going to be one of my normal catch-up podcasts where I show you what I'm working on, just kind of what's been happening here in my office, mostly in my office. And yeah, I don't have a better explanation for what these usually look like. Just to kind of like give a wrap up of what the last couple weeks have been looking like. So I had a really busy end of January into February because of the number of events that were going on. Like a lot of churches, my church does an auction, and I did both help with decorating and decide to donate some items this year. So I don't have the items to show you because the auction has already happened, so they are happily in the hands of their new owners. But instead of donating a finished object for the auction this year, I decided to donate some kits for beginner knitters and crocheters with the idea that the winner can reach out to me for some free lessons to go with their materials. So I already heard back from one person who won the knitting kit. I'm still waiting to hear back from the crochet kit winner. But that was a very exciting way to like start off the month and just kind of give back to a community that I have been really excited about being a part of lately. This is also the same church that I am a teacher at because there is a school attached to the church as well. So I've been having a lot of fun subbing there and just being involved in things and finding that sense of community with this group. So I figured it was only appropriate to give back through donating to the auction and helping with the auction. So that was very exciting. But the other big thing coming up is it's actually my birthday week, the week that you're seeing this. So I have a party planned for this weekend because I am turning 30. So I figured that was worth celebrating, and I decided to do a book related party. So I am still in the process of making some of the like party favors, which feels very like little kid-ish to have party favors, but I had fun picking them out, so I figured it doesn't matter. And I think people will have fun receiving them as well. So a lot of them I'm waiting on the last few things to come in the mail, but I'm going to make some bookmarks with my Cricut just like I did for my students for Valentine's Day, which those are still sitting right behind me because tomorrow is going to be our school Valentine's Day party, the day that I'm filming this. And so I have those. Maybe if I'm feeling ambitious, will also do some beaded bookmarks because I do have the supplies for those as well. I'm also going to give some tote bags for everybody to bring their goodies home in, and I found some plain canvas tote bags with book designs on them just in black ink. So I actually found some fabric markers so that people can color their book totes if they would like to. I also found some fun pens and sticky notes and stickers for all of my e-reader people who like putting stickers on their e-readers or on their phones. So yeah, I'm super excited. The way the party is going to work is that everyone is going to bring 2 copies of the book of their choice, whether that's an old favorite, something they read recently. The only rule was that they had to be used copies because we wanted to keep the price per person down. And to bring a snack to share, whether it was inspired by your book or not. So the idea then being that we get to talk and have snacks and talk about our books, but then we're going to do a white elephant style drawing so that everybody pulls a number, and when your number is called, you get to pick which books you want to take home. So everybody goes home with 2 books that are new to them, and I'm just really excited. I've gotten a lot of like positive feedback already from people that they're really excited to come to the party, which is awesome. But yeah, it's just an exciting week in Stitches and Scribbles land. Birthdays and events and just stuff happening all the time. So it's been very busy, and I had the best of intentions when it came to working on the projects I was supposed to be working on, but obviously that did not happen. So I kind of found myself in a start-itis cycle again, especially this past weekend. But I do have one finished object, and I do still need to weave in the ends and apparently take out a stitch marker. Who knows how long that's been there. But I finished my, where's the front? There we go. I finished my burgundy hexagon cardigan. I made this with long sleeves. They're kind of balloon sleeves just because of how big and bulky they are. And I had it come down to about my hips, so not a super long cardigan, but definitely the same length or longer than most of my t-shirts, just because that is how I prefer to wear them. And the stitch marker I had in here, I believe, was showing where I left off last time I showed you this cardigan. So I was still on the second hexagon last time, and I have now finished it, which is awesome. I am planning on wearing this tomorrow, which probably means I will be weaving in the ends tomorrow morning, right before I wear it, because that's just how things have been going lately for me. So this is going to be my Valentine's Day cardigan, and I'm filming this on a Monday, and Valentine's Day is on a Wednesday, but we're celebrating on Tuesday because I teach at a Catholic school, and Wednesday is also Ash Wednesday. So we are celebrating Valentine's Day on the 13th instead of the 14th. We also have a Mardi Gras celebration. I believe it's a carnival of some sort. I'm still kind of learning like what all of these big school events are, because I'm up until like the last couple months, I've never been a full-time employee here. So I'm still learning the ropes a little bit. I have witnessed the Mardi Gras carnival before, but it was like, I think I was subbing for a specials teacher or something, so I didn't have to like take a class to it. I don't remember. I do remember being there and seeing it set up, but I don't remember like what happens there. Because when it comes to stuff like that, I have the memory of a goldfish. So all of that to say, I will be wearing this tomorrow for our Valentine's Day / Mardi Gras celebration, whatever that looks like. And we're just going to toss that up there for now so I can reach the rest of my whips. I have really been enjoying working on like simpler projects. I'm still going strong on my socks, although I'm not going to show you the socks I have in progress. Did I show them on a previous podcast? I don't know, but this Friday you'll get another Taylor Swift sock vlog because I'm almost done with that pair of socks, so I'll leave them out of this video. I can't remember if I showed them or not. If I showed them already, then you've already seen spoilers for them. But in case I also hit it last time, I'm going to hide it this time and not show you. But those will be coming out this Friday. So I'll have another pair of socks to add to my sock wardrobe. I have been having a lot of fun actually wearing my handmade socks. I feel like with the first couple pairs, I was like too nervous to actually wear them out and about because I was afraid I was going to ruin them or like somehow break the stitches or like put too much strain on them, and was just like terrified that they would just fall apart and self-combust and something terrible would happen to them. But I have been wearing them out a little more, especially since we're now back into a kind of cold weather burst. It was really warm for a couple of days, and that felt nice, but I'm kind of glad that I get a couple more weeks of cold, cozy sweater weather time, so that I can wear more of my hand knit socks, especially while I'm home and just relaxing and being cozy. But I did wear my bejeweled Taylor Swift socks to the Super Bowl last night. We went to a Super Bowl party with some friends, and I wore my bejeweled socks, which was very, very fun. They are now waiting to be washed, so I don't have them to show you, but it was fun it was a fun conversation starter because I also brought knitting to the Super Bowl party, which actually, since we're talking about that, let's have that be the first whip that I show you. So I started this hat over Christmas break, but I've been kind of working on it rather sporadically just because of all the other projects that I've had going on. But I am still working on my Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague, and I ran into a couple of errors already while I was doing this. So first of all, my stitch gauge was not on the chart for the hat. And if you've made this hat before, there's a chart with your stitch count so that you can make this hat pretty much with any yarn in any size. However, my gauge was too small to be on the chart. I believe the yarnist, I can say words. I believe the smallest gauge on the chart was 9 stitches per inch, and I'm doing 10 stitches per inch. Because of that, instead of making the, I think originally I was going to make the adult large size, I decided to make the adult extra large size and hoped that that would make up for the difference. The other thing I forgot to do is I just continued increasing until I reached the final diameter for the hat. But what you're actually supposed to do is like do your increases for the crown, and then you space out your increases for the last couple rounds of increases. I did not do that. My increases just end flat with no like curvature to them. So I have a very flat top to my hat. I'm also starting to wonder if this hat is going to be slightly too big on me. So instead of frogging it, which I did debate if I wanted to do that, I think what I'm going to do is just plan on it being kind of a slouchy hat. So you can see, like, I'm kind of at the point where I could go ahead and start my second color and make it the inside out section. But I have so little left of this skein that I think I should just finish it. And B, if I go a little further, then I'll have a hat where I can scooch it back on my head a little bit and have a little bit more of a about to get yarn everywhere. A little bit more of a slouchy hat, which I think is something I'd wear more anyway. But I am almost done with the first side of the hat. It just looks kind of silly right now because of how it's curling. It looks really short, but it's really not that short. It's just curled up and slightly too big. But I have been enjoying this. This has been my like mindless knit, which is why I brought it to the Super Bowl party, because it's something easy enough where I can still focus and hold a conversation with somebody, but it keeps my hands busy when there's a lull in the conversation, and most importantly, keeps me off of my phone. I have a lot of trouble in social situations where if I'm not actively talking to somebody and not entertained by whatever we're watching, I tend to like play on my phone and check social media, which also I realize makes me look less approachable to people. So knitting is both a conversation starter and keeps me off of my phone and keeps me entertained while stuff is going on. So this has been my go-to like mindless knit for the last week or so is really when I got into it. I do have stitch markers in here. So this like geometric multicolored one was where I was last time I showed this on the podcast. This little pearl one is where I ended my increases. Yeah, increases. So you can see that that is how far I've gotten in the last week or so. During the Super Bowl, I started with this like dark purple stripe right here and knit all the way to where it is now. So that's a solid like 1.5 inches, I think, maybe closer to 2 inches. I'm really bad at estimating measurements. So lots of progress done during the Super Bowl on that. I am going to at least finish this skein of yarn, possibly start another one because I do have 2 more little skeins of that yarn, and I've already made socks with it and I don't really need it for anything else. So I'll probably just use as much as I want on the hat. And then I actually am splitting the remainders of that yarn into its separate colors so that I can use it for a different project that I want more little solid colors for, which I'll actually talk about that a little bit in the next podcast episode. But going back to the hat, I do want to make that hat reversible and not the same on the inside and the outside. A lot of people who make the Musselburgh hat make it just with one yarn throughout so that it's double layered, but the inside is the same as the outside. I want the inside to be different from the outside so that I can flip it inside out and have two hats in one, because why make one hat when you can make two and not have it take up the space of two hats? So for the other side, I'm going to be using this yarn, which is also, I don't know if it's self-striping or if it's going to show up more as variegated. It might be kind of like micro stripe-ish if you were making socks with this, but this is going to be the other side of the hat. So it's kind of similar colors in that it's like purples, blues, greens, yellows. There's like a tiny bit of a kind of orangey color, but this is like very neon, whereas the other one is like muted, like almost dusty colors. So like similar color palette, but the neon version. This yarn is from Hobbii. I believe it was their Atlas sock. And I'm pretty sure they no longer carry this. So I have 2 skeins of it, so I'm going to use one for the Musselburgh hat and one to make a pair of socks eventually, because I really like these colors. I am hoping to start the other side of the Musselburgh hat on my birthday. I, for the last couple years, have done a birthday project or a birthday cast on. Last year was the first time that I did it officially as a birthday cast on, where I started it on my birthday. Obviously I've already started this Musselburgh hat, but I figure if I can do a couple rows of the other half of the Musselburgh hat started on my birthday, this will count as my birthday cast on. And if you have been around on this podcast for a while, I have some very weird rules about birthday projects. For some reason in my brain, neon green and purple are birthday colors. That is just what my brain has decided. I believe the reasoning for that is since I was born in February, my birthstone color is purple because it's amethyst. And same thing, birth flowers are a thing, right? I believe February is violets. So there's a lot of like purple stuff for February to begin with. On top of my birthday being like just a little after Valentine's Day, like the pinks and purples were kind of just commonly found. But my favorite color for a lot of when I was growing up, like probably middle school through high school and into college, was like neon green. And somehow my brain has like fused those two colors together as like those two colors represent my birthday. Neon green is no longer my favorite color. Actually, the sweatshirt I have on is kind of my favorite color. The like deep foresty green. I like deep teals. I like burgundies, kind of the like dark jewel tone colors. But the combination of neon green and purple still makes me smile. So for as long as I have yarn that is both neon green and purple in my stash, I'll continue using it as birthday projects. That was a lot about this whip. So I'll probably continue to work on that throughout the week. I also like the Musselburgh hat because I can knit it while I'm reading, which I do with usually only projects that are knit stockinette in the round, just because it's pretty easy to do while also reading a book on my tablet or on my computer, or even on my phone, depending on the circumstance, because all I'm doing is swiping to turn the page. I don't have to physically hold the book open. So since I have a couple of ebooks in my Libby queue right now that are checked out, I will probably work on that while reading a little bit this week, which will be nice and relaxing. On to other projects. There's one whip that I just started that I'm actually not going to show you. That was the tub I just moved because it's going to be part of the next podcast episode. But I do have a couple more in progress that I'm considering active whips that are not my Taylor Swift socks. So first of all, because I apparently am back in my hexagon cardigan era, I am working on another hexagon cardigan. So this one is going to be funky. That's the only way to describe it. Even though it doesn't look like I am alternating between two yarns here. And these are yarns that I got from the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival. So for this hexagon, I am alternating between these two shades, which in my head I've been calling light blue and yellow. I realize they both have other colors in them, but they're the only ones that, well, this is the only one that has yellow. This is the only one that is predominantly light blue. They kind of all have this like dusty purple gray color in them, but I'm going to use these two for one hexagon. And for the other hexagon, I'm using these two, which in my head I've been calling the purple and the dark teal. Again, they all have purple in them. This is the only one that is all purple, and this is the only one that has the deep teal. So I'm going to get an effect with these colors where like one side looks kind of dark and the other side looks kind of brighter, in theory. When I got these yarns, I kind of knew that whatever I made with them was going to be kind of crazy looking, so I just decided to lean into it. I am hoping that I can have that done for Easter and wear that either for Holy Saturday or Easter Sunday, because it'll be bright and colorful and kind of the like pastels that go with Easter without being like in your face neons. It's also going to be a fairly lightweight sweater. That yarn is like kind of, I don't think it's actually cotton, but it feels like it is. It's kind of lightweight. It is from Interlacements, and it just says hand dyed, rayon special, so it must be rayon. But it feels pretty lightweight, pretty thin, and I'm making it with the traditional granny stitch, so it'll have a lot of like open work space in it. Yeah, I said all those words in the right order. So that'll be kind of nice to have for the months coming up. I recently watched Natalie from Nitty Natty do her podcast talking about her intentional wardrobe that she wants to create and how she's planning her projects around the seasons so that she'll be able to wear pieces immediately after finishing them, instead of like working on a summer piece during the summer and then not being able to wear it because it's gotten too cold out. So I kind of had that in mind when I started that one next, of like, oh, I've been really liking wearing kind of the oversized cardigans regardless of the season. It'd be nice to have a couple more like spring summer ones instead of like just the heavy winter ones. I do have a couple of like lightweight cotton ones that I typically wear a lot over the summer and in the spring, so it'll be nice to add another one to the collection. And then my final whip that I have today is something that I totally started on a whim, and that is a baby blanket. So this is a linen stitch square, and the yarn I'm using is Caron Simply Soft Speckle in the color Vintage. So I thought that this was a very sweet baby blanket color. And the reason why I started a baby blanket is not because I know anybody who is currently expecting that I would give a baby blanket to. But the people in my life who are at the life stage where they're having kids seem to all have kids at the same time when they do. So since I'm kind of at a lull right now in terms of friends having babies, I figured it wouldn't hurt to add a couple to my stash so that then when inevitably they're all going through round 2 or 3 or 1 in some cases of kids, I have a stockpile of blankets ready. And the linen stitch squares are another like very meditative crochet stitch for me. It's easy to do while watching TV, while just chilling and not thinking about it too hard. So I figured starting another one wouldn't hurt. And I actually really like the Karen Simply Soft for baby blankets because it has that kind of like shiny luster to it, but it's also easy to wash, which is great for whoever is doing baby's laundry, that things are washable. So yeah, I actually really enjoy making baby blankets, but I'm kind of careful about how I post about them online because I don't want anyone to assume that because I posted a baby blanket that means that I am expecting, but also I don't want to like give it away if someone has told me but hasn't like done their big announcement yet. So even even if I am making a baby blanket for someone specifically, generally on the internet I will lie and say that I don't know who it's for, or like be generic and say it's for a friend who's expecting, and just really not talk about it. And it's so funny because like I crochet and knit a lot, right? I have made a lot of baby blankets over the years, and yet every time I'm making one, people assume it's for me. Like, I feel like I would make it a lot more obvious than just knitting a baby blanket in front of somebody to tell them. But yeah, people are weird when it comes to baby stuff and thinking that everything is an announcement. And yeah, that weird tangent, but let me know if you have experienced that as a knitter or crocheter, that if you're making baby items, people automatically assume that it's because you're expecting or because you're having a baby, and a lot of times it's not. Like there are so many baby blankets I have knit and crocheted over the years that I'm still shocked when people make that assumption. If anything, I feel like I wouldn't make baby items if I was in those early stages of not telling people. I would probably avoid making baby items so that people wouldn't ask me about it. And also, if people aren't ready to say it yet, then don't ask. It seems like it would be common sense, but people tend to lose their minds when it comes to baby-related anything. So that was another side tangent for the day. Clearly it's been a busy couple of weeks, but it's been really exciting to be like still full-time teaching, which at this point, because of the way that I'm covering for the multiple teachers with maternity leaves, I am going to be full-time teaching until the end of the school year, which is not something I thought I would want to do, or even something that I thought I would consider, especially if you'd asked me 2 years ago, right when I quit or almost 3 years ago at this point, when I quit my full-time teaching job. But it's been really nice to be back full-time. It had gotten to the point where I realized I would be sad if there was a gap between the maternity leaves I was covering, so I'm kind of glad that there now isn't a gap because of how schedules worked out, because I get to stay at school until the end of the school year, and it's just been really rewarding to be diving back into teaching. And also I have quite a few kids who I work with who are interested in knitting and crocheting, and I think it's because I wear a lot of my knit and crochet pieces to school, but they're very aware of it now. Some of them got like the Woobles kits for Christmas and have started crocheting, which, on that note, if you are gifting a kit to a brand new crocheter, I would not recommend starting with stuffed animals because they are very challenging. In the words of one of my 5th graders, she got one for Christmas, tried for 3 hours and cried the whole time and still didn't make her little penguin. So I would not recommend those to first-time crocheters, even though I know that's their whole shtick, is that it's to make crochet easy, but stuffed animals as a first crochet project is very challenging, so I would not recommend making that choice for a first-time crocheter. But yeah, life is crazy. There's lots of yarny things happening, and it's been good, even though it's been busy. I feel like this this school year of my life, because I still measure things in school years, has been both the most chaotic and the least stressful of my like full-time school year teaching experiences, which is a good thing because it means that the chaos is manageable and I have the ability to like mentally leave it at school. I'm not taking that mental load home with me or the physical load of like grading and planning and stuff like that. It's been manageable to keep everything at school. So, yeah. Another side tangent for you. On that note, I think that means it's time to call it on this episode and stop talking so that I can start the next one. But thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing more crafty content from me, whether it's podcasts, tutorials, or vlogs, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that you can be notified of all of my crafty content right here on YouTube. If you'd like to follow me on other social media sites, that information will be in the description box below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.